Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1996 Toyota RAV4. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Toyota RAV4 because this is the first generation of RAV4. Started in 1994, this is what kicked everything off to one of the most popular vehicles on sale today. So we're going to be digging through that a little bit, figuring out why this generation was so special, so quirky, and so weird, as well as enjoying that sweet, sweet Toyota reliability. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2-liter inline 4 under the hood. Well, that was the only engine offered here in the RAV4. There was the 3SGE 2-liter as well, but that was Japan only. This makes 120 horsepower, and it's nothing special mechanically. However, this car has been extremely reliable in its 295,000-mile life. The owner said the only major repairs it's needed have been 2 alternators in its lifetime, a front subframe replacement because here in Wisconsin they rust out pretty much immediately, and it just got its rear brakes done for the first time in nearly 300,000 miles. So, if you want to talk reliability from the 90s, you're talking about the first-gen RAV4. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic. It's a little harsh in its shifts. The 1 to 2 shift will throw you back in your seat every once in a while, which is how they came. That's just how they shifted. This wasn't really a very smooth or eloquent box. It just kind of worked, and that's it. But it still works today after 300,000 miles. Never been opened, and that is cool to see. Last but not least, about the drivetrain of the RAV4. This particular RAV4 is front-wheel drive. However, they could be had with all-wheel drive in the era. It's actually where the 4 in RAV4 comes from. Recreational active vehicle with 4-wheel drive. That's what RAV4 supposedly sounds like, at least the word on the street or what the kids are telling me. How does it feel to drive a first-gen RAV4? Couple of things to note. First of all, performance, not really crazy, nothing too special, drives like a Corolla in that way. But the actual chassis of the vehicle is, of course, different. This got its own chassis for the start of the RAV4. Now, it shares parts with the Corolla and Carina, of which the Carina was a Japanese domestic market vehicle I've actually reviewed here on the channel, but it has a really, really short wheelbase. It has a very small turning radius, and you feel like just a little off-roader. This feels like a Suzuki Samurai that had a big lunch, and I like that. I like that short, tight feeling. It's nimble. It's fun enough to drive. You could really rev out that 2-liter if you want, and we do have a transmission mode that we'll talk about in a second. But overall, it's not a crazy driving experience, but still a decent one. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my speedometer. In the center is the coolant temperature and fuel, and off to the right is the tachometer. Nothing on the steering wheel forward-facing besides the cruise control off to the right. And off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, gauge dimmer switch, and a bunch of dead switches here in the RAV4. On the door, we have our latch get in and out and crank for the window. That's right, this is a manual windowed vehicle. And moving into the center, we have 2 climate control vents and our climate controls. This was a factory AC vehicle, so no power windows, but we do get AC. Then we have 3 buttons. So in the center is the hazard switch, off to the right is the rear defrost, but off to the left is the ECT, which is the power transmission mode, which basically just holds onto the revs a little bit more and shifts a little bit harder. It's nice to have in the RAV4, but of all the cars to have it, I would deem the RAV4 probably least necessary. Then we have an aftermarket radio. However, this being the base model, it actually didn't get rear speakers, but someone added them later. Down below, we have a cubby and pop-out cup holders, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and obviously it fails. But you could also option this car to have a cassette player here. So if you got the cassette player, you didn't get cup holders. If you got cup holders, you didn't get a cassette player, and vice versa. Then we do have a little ashtray for that cigarette lighter that was hidden by the cup holders. And the shifter, nothing too crazy about the shifter. It works. It's from Toyota. It looks like it's from Toyota, and that's that. And then we have some coin holders and the parking brake. I don't get any center armrests, which I would have liked, especially for a long trip, but this isn't really a long haul car. And the seats, first of all, I love Love, love, love the seat pattern. So 90s, so retro, so fun for the sake of being fun. And I really, really like that. However, let's hop into the back because we have more fun for being fun items. All right, so getting in the back of the first gen RAV4 two-door. So something to note, first of all, the seat does go up a pretty good amount. And we can climb back here, and I actually have plenty of headroom, even with my sunglasses on. I have, let's see how much knee room. Not all the knee room in the world, but for a two-door SUV, this isn't bad. This window behind me, you can actually tilt out. I say this window because the driver's side doesn't. It just doesn't have the mechanism. It looks like it would. It can't really tell visually the difference. Maybe the base model's only got one, but the higher trims, you could open both. I don't know. If you know, let me know. We do have a sunroof up here in front of the front occupants. However, because this isn't the convertible, and we'll talk about that in a second, I actually get a second sunroof back here. Now, I don't want to open it because the seals are old and they might not seal up again properly, but two sunroofs is really, really cool. And then you could remove both of these. They're just metal panels. And there used to be clips in the rear door. You could slide them into the clips and take them with you. However, they have broken over the years. So very, very cool. And I'll point that out in a second when we hop around the back. But honestly, the back seats are livable. I have my own grab handles up here. So if we're going down a trail, whoa, I can hold on. I love it. Anyway, let's hop out and get into the back and talk about the rear trunk space. Oh, I do have a handle. I was panicking in my head that I wouldn't have a handle. There we go. Let's hop into the back and talk about the trunk and cargo space and how these seats fold up. Very interesting. All right, around the back of the RAV4, handle right here, and we swing out the full door. Down here, that's where those hooks would have been to put these sunroofs. Like I said, they've broken, and the owner can't find replacements because parts are getting kind of hard, at least like body parts for this. Engine parts, mechanical, that's always going to be available, but body stuff like this, especially for the sunroof coupe, very hard to find. Anyway, once we are back here, obviously not a whole lot of cargo space, but we can change that. So you have to lift this up and out. You have to take the headrest out, and then there's a handle right here, and you pull that, and it goes down. And then there's a handle down here. Put your finger in, pull that, and then it goes up like that. And then there's a little hood prop, goes down there, and then the headrest just sit in there. That would normally be the bottom of the seat, but they added headrest holes so you could remount it. So you can do the same over here. Headrest out. This is really hard to, it's not hard to do. It's really hard to do one-handed. So headrest out, pull the cord, set it down, find the cord down here, set it up. There you go. And boom. Now you have plenty of cargo space, and the owner actually has a subwoofer that he puts back here. Oh, I forgot to do the hood prop over here. Heaven forbid. I hit the gas too hard, it would fly back down. So very, very cool and very modular rear space. So pop this back up, pull the headrest out, seat down, seat up, headrest in. Come on. There we go. Headrest out, hood prop up, seat back down, seat back up, and hope no one's timing me. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and obviously this is the coupe RAV4, the two-door, actually technically three-door they call it, but you know, two-side door RAV4, and I love it. This color was also a little bit more rare. It's a bluish, purplish, and I like it a lot. And I love, love, love seeing a two-door first-gen RAV4. To me, that's so special. And they did sell these in four-door, and we'll talk about that towards the final thought segment. But the rear cap does not come off. There is no rear cap. It's all one body piece. And I mention that because there also was an available convertible. So You could actually put the back down. It was a soft top rear that would open up, and I would love to film one of those if anyone has one. But I thought that this would be the same, just with a hardtop bolted on that would be removable. That's not the case. This is all part of the chassis. It is not removable. I'm sure someone down in Kentucky or Tennessee has cut the back off of one of these, but this is not a removable hardtop. It's just a hardtop. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the first generation Toyota RAV4? As a car, I love it. This has been a fantastic experience, and I love how quirky and weird and different and strange this car is. And like I said with the seats, this car is fun for the sake of having fun. That's what we don't really get here in 2024 in our modern market. These weird fun seats, the dual sunroof, the two-door somewhat impractical SUV. We don't really see vehicles like that in our current market. Back in the 90s, it was running rampant. You could have a convertible of nearly any car, including the RAV4. And that to me, it feels like a more fun era. It feels more jolly. It feels more loose. And I like that. However, let's talk about the RAV4 as a whole, because now I have driven every generation of Toyota RAV4. And when I set out to do this career 10 years ago, I never thought that that would be a goal of mine, but it has become, and I have accomplished it. The RAV4 has changed a lot. It was originally a concept car in the late 80s, known as the RAV4, but spelled out 4. And look at this thing. It looks so weird. It looks like a Jeep. It's very, very strange. And so sacrifices from the concept had to be made in order to work for modern traffic and for a modern market and to pass safety regulations, which I forgot to mention, this is a 96, so it's the first year of the passenger airbag. But anyway, then we got this, which was a convertible, possibly stick shift, possibly all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, fun little SUV. And I would have to say that from the concept, the hopes and dreams that they had, they nailed it pretty good. Then they came with the second gen, and the convertible is no longer available. That's okay, some sacrifices had to be made for longevity. Not a whole lot of people bought the convertible, so they cut it out. But it still had a tire on the back, it still had a two-door version. Really, really sweet. Then the third gen came, and they dropped the two-door. Not a whole lot of people bought the two-door. That's okay, they kept the tire on the back, they kept the all-wheel drive option, they kept the sporty look and feel. Sure. And then the fourth gen came, and they took the tire off the back and they made it a little bit more civilized, but they kept selling more and more of them. So they followed the market trend. The market was trending towards hybrid. And so now the Toyota RAV4 is offered as a plug-in hybrid or standard drivetrain. I've had all three and they're all fantastic, but they've skewed pretty far away from the original concept of the RAV4. It's no longer a strange, weird, almost Jeep competitor. It's a soccer mom vehicle with fantastic fuel economy, of which this car does not. The owner says he averages low 20s for miles per gallon, which from a four-cylinder ain't great. My point being is that people complain about modern cars being lame or soulless, and I get that and I agree. However, the RAV4 is one of the best showings that it doesn't happen overnight, and I don't think Toyota had this grand scheme of, oh yes, we're going to get people in the 90s and then water it down 30 years later. And I think a lot of people think, oh, these companies have these grand schemes to stick it to the consumers. It's not. The battle isn't lost immediately. It's slowly lost over decades and focus groups and CEO changes and leadership changes in general. Every single generation, this car lost something that made it special. And so now we have a great car in 2024/2025, but it's not what this car used to be. This car is strange. It's happy, it's jolly, and it's here for a good time, and I love all of those reasons behind it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Sean for letting me borrow his first gen RAV4 for today's video. What an absolutely wonderful little vehicle this is. Sean has been fantastic to work with. I appreciate him having me up here to Wisconsin to film his vehicles. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.